So when you came on there, and as you said, authenticity, what was the message you wanted to leave out for the world?
I think the most important thing is to become the best version of yourself, to become and achieve your fullest potential. So many people limit themselves based off of what somebody else has told them they are, based off of the limitations of their parents, their teachers, their education, the system. But you can truly become whoever you want to be. And I wanted to push this message of hope. And I wanted to push this message of, if you work hard, if you are consistent, and if you dedicate yourself to a worthy ideal, you can become whoever you want to become.
Yeah.
And I've gotten messages from thousands of people all around the world who are truly changing their lives, whether developing better physiques, whether making more money, whether reconnecting with their partner and having better relationships. And it's being an example to people. An example doesn't mean you need to be perfect. And that's something that I'm really clear about. I'll show my flaws. I say some crazy shit. I do some crazy shit, but I'm me. And through that authenticity, it resonates with people, and people resonate with truth, right? People resonate with truth.
Of course, yeah.
So when you understand something to be true, when you know the truth and you resonate with it, you don't have to kind of convince somebody into your lifestyle. They see it and then
they like it.
They like it and then they fuck with it. They resonate with it and then they adopt it for themselves. And that's kind of what I always tell people. Hey, don't judge my words. Don't judge my actions. Don't even judge my lifestyle. Just test it out. Just test out going to the gym a couple times a week. Just test out having a whole foods diet. Just test out building a business online. Just test out actually investing and going to networking events. Go and build relationships. Go find mentors and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, perfect. You can then go back to your 9 to 5. You can then go back to university.
Well, at least you tried it.
These things will be there. But the last thing you want is to live with the what if and never have actually pulled the trigger because, somebody told you out there how something was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been working out very well.
So before you came online, were you always this guy of trying to be the best version of yourself?
No, not at all. Not at all. So my journey started in Argentina. Grew up there at the age of 16. Went to the United States with $200 in a suitcase.
By yourself or?
Well, my uncle was a pilot.
Okay.
And he actually got me a seat in what's called the jump seat, which is where the flight attendants sit.
Yeah, it sounds like you're about to jump out of a plane.
Well, the thing is, you basically can get free travel and things like that when you work for an airline.
Yep.
So I had my free flight. From there, worked all sorts of odd jobs, from pressure washing basketball courts to cleaning toilets. Eventually went to a couple universities, dropped out. University really wasn't for me. I wanted to start a business, went and tried learning international business. And I tell people, my international business professor had never been overseas. So it's like, okay, when you start evaluating what's important when it comes to building relationships with people from different cultures, different languages, different backgrounds, there's more to it than a textbook.
Yeah.
So I was like, why am I sitting down with this dude that is in learning from him? Sure, you can teach me macroeconomics, microeconomics. You can teach me finance. You can teach me tax. All these things, I get it, completely understand it. But I can also learn that on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn from somebody who had experience. Started moving all over the world. 6 months out of the year, I spend in hotel rooms. I've been to 60 countries. I'm 28, right?
Yeah, damn.
So I'm in a situation right now where I actually have been becoming an online entrepreneur. So I invest in companies all over the world, whether it's in Singapore, whether it's in Malaysia, whether it's in the UK, whether it's in the US. My portfolio is very vast, and that perspective would have not been achieved had I not been able to break free from the illusion of, hey, I have to go learn from a specific person who doesn't have the actual experience. They just have a degree, which doesn't mean much when it comes to business.
Not at all, yeah.
Eventually, in 2016, I heard about Bitcoin. I was waiting tables, and my fellow server was like, hey, have you heard about Bitcoin? We were talking about the stock market because the stock market was starting to get hot. I'm like, no. I'm like, okay. He's like, you should check in. You should look into it. It was $588. I run, get my credit card, Wells Fargo credit card, and buy my first Bitcoin on Bitstamp.
But what was your first initial thought when you heard about it, though?
I just was trying to make some money.
Okay.
I was just like, hey,
did you not necessarily
I didn't understand that the blockchain. I hadn't read Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper or the entire perspective of what it meant to live in a decentralized financial system. I was clueless. I just knew that I wanted to make money. That led me down a rabbit trail of making money online. So I started with e-commerce. Started with drop shipping because when you don't have money, you basically want to arbitrage things.
Yeah.
And not only that, I also was flipping Instagram usernames. So, a couple of these sheiks that you see around with 4-letter handles, 5-letter handles, I would try and finesse them, sell handles here and there, arbitrage that, would build up meme pages or theme pages and then flip them and sell them to businesses when that kind of was hot and doing well. And then meme pages and theme pages would hit me up and be like, hey, we'd like to run a promo on your page. I'm like, okay, sounds good. And it was really funny because they're like, okay, like we want to pay you for a promo. How much? Oh, a couple $1,000s. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. But then I saw how many sales they got and how much traffic it was generating for them. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
So let me just start drop shipping. My brother bought a first course for $1,997 from this Asian guy. And I started learning drop shipping. From there, participated in 2017, 2018 crypto bull run. My portfolio absolutely crushed. But then I fell for the trap of, at that point it was HODL.
Okay.
That's where the HODL message came from. In 2020 was the diamond hands, right?
Yeah.
And the wag me, we're all going to make it.
Yeah.
But the 2018 was HODL.
Yeah.
But I got absolutely decimated because I held it the entire way down. But I knew at that point, I was studying crypto. I was really involved. I was in the trenches, that it was going to come back. It was going to bounce back. So I decided to double down on e-commerce, really start focusing on building businesses online, and ended up doing $16 million in revenue in e-com.
Damn.
Did pretty well. Met one of my mentors who's now my business partner inside Capital Club, Steve Tan.
How old at the time then?
I was like 23. I don't know, whatever. I'm 28 now, so just do the math.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
It was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
But it was because I met one of my mentors by the name of Steve Tan, who'd done 9 figures in e-com. He was posting $6 million a month screenshots, and he was absolutely legit. And I contacted him. He flew me out to Phuket for one of his masterminds because we connected, we became homies. And he pulled out his phone one day and he showed me an $111,000 day on Shopify, real live. Like, it wasn't the screenshot where you have to figure out, is this person lying to me? No, it was real. And I'm like, okay, there's possibilities, there's potential. He had manufacturing, he had warehouse, he had supply chain connected to all of that. That really changed my mindset, took me to the next level. I mean, he was selling on eBay in 2006. So he's like an OG of e-com. And now he's the president, he's the CEO of Capital Club. I'm the president. We became business partners and kind of are building the network there. But that led me to investing into DeFi in 2019, 2021, 2020. And I owned a 1% supply of a very popular token known as PancakeSwap, which was absolutely revolutionary.
Okay. Yeah.
And it did extremely well. I bought it when it was a $25 million market cap, put in $250K.
Yep.
Wrote it to 2.6 billion. Obviously sold on my way up. Made a little bit over $5 million on that play, and that just changed my entire perspective. So it was creating wealth, multiplying wealth, and then I cashed out at $59,000 Bitcoin, which is the preservation wealth. And obviously during the bear market, continued building Capital Club, which is my network and my organization that invest in companies, that invest in entrepreneurs, phenomenal experience. And now pretty much full-time investing in crypto companies, private equity, and obviously my Capital Club organization.
See, that's a great way to introduce yourself. A man who's heavily indulged in building generational wealth by the looks of it, right? But I want to go back to Luke Belmar as a kid, because coming to the US and hustling and bustling your way through life, where does that whole entrepreneurial spirit come from? Was it always there from the beginning, or did it only come in when you landed in the US, when you had $200 to your name?
The thing about South America and Central America, there's a lot of hustlers and a lot of entrepreneurs. Not everybody can get a job. Not everybody can actually go and get a white collar job at an office. You'll see it. There's a big entrepreneurial spirit in South America and in Central America. So it was always in the back of my mind, I want to do my own thing. But the entrepreneurial spirit, I don't know if it was an entrepreneurial spirit, but it was always a spirit of, I don't want to work for somebody else. I remember I had a job for about 2 months. It was a desk job. And I had to walk to work because I didn't have a car. So I would walk about an hour. I would go in, I'd clock in. First of all, they would tell me how I would have to dress. Then they would tell me, hey, how I was supposed to behave and what I was supposed to do, which is fine. Like, if you're working for an organization, you're supposed to comply. I get it. There's rules. But it wasn't for me. And then after 2 weeks of work, I got a paycheck for $800. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just worked 2 weeks for $800.
Just this,
For $800. I was like, okay, let me go to Walmart. I go to Walmart, buy some groceries, spend $160, pay for my rent, which at the time was just a room, $350. I had no money left. I had no money. I was like, I cannot do this. So I instantly quit that shit and started figuring out how to hustle and make my own way. And then at that point, I went from working a desk job and in the US, which for a lot of people, they may not know, you can actually get and make a lot of money waiting tables because it's a tip-based system. So that's where I learned how to talk to people. That's where I learned how to upsell so that people would get more expensive drinks or they would get the appetizers. So just to make the bill kind of go up because you have the standard 20% tip.
Oh, it's 20% across the bill.
Yeah, that's like the standard of like what people would consider
a good tip sort of
a
thing.
good tip if you have good service.
Yeah.
So I was learning how to make my money. I ended up working at high-end restaurants. Made my way to Washington, D.C., worked at high-end restaurants, and the bills would be $700, $800, $1,000. I'd close $1,000 table, I'd make $150, $200 on tips. I'm like,
That's a lot of money for a
this
tip.
is real money
Yeah.
because I get to take it cash, and I would take the money cash, I would deposit it into the ATM, and that would be my Facebook ads for the next day or my investment for crypto. So that cold hard cash that I would have was my kind of exit into being able to hustle my way to where I am today. It's pretty,
So
pretty good.
when you find out your I suppose the first real hustle, which was dropshipping, you were still working at the time.
Absolutely.
And the money from the work was getting funneled into dropshipping.
Yes.
Okay.
So whatever I would take from the tips,
Yep.
half of it would go into our dropshipping ads because my brother was waiting tables at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the other half would go into dumping it into Bitcoin, dumping it into ETH.
So this journey, is it all been with your brother as well?
Yeah, I mean, I was sleeping on his couch, you know? I remember getting my first contract when I started doing Facebook ads for companies on Wall Street. They would pay me $8,000 to $9,000 a month. I was still sleeping on his couch, paying him $200 a month just to sleep on his couch. And that's how I started. I already had a 6-figure income because I was getting all these deals, running Facebook ads for these companies because I got really good at it. And yeah, we kind of been hustling from the beginning together.
Damn, man. What would you say is the biggest mindset shift or habit you've had to create in those years for you to be in the position you're in now?
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that it's possible because you can create your reality. The perception that you have of the world, if you think there's only scarcity, there's no opportunity, that's how you are going to interact with reality. If you think that there's abundance, if you think that there's opportunity, then these things will manifest themselves to you. So you have to believe that you can, right? And the way that you believe and the way that you can get to that state, because a lot of people are like, I have a lot of doubt. So do I. I have it all the time. Even if at these levels, right? You're doing 7-figure months. Dude, there's people doing 8-figure months. That's hard to fathom. That's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
But it's still possible.
Yeah, of course.
Is it difficult? Absolutely. But it's a mindset shift. So it's a mindset shift, one of, hey, it's possible. 2, it's an abundance mindset. You can either have a delusion of scarcity, which most people are like, hey, it's not possible, or this is not a reality. And I get it. Our lives are so far. We're sitting in a suite in Dubai right now.
Yeah.
How old are you?
26.
Okay, I'm 26. We're 28. This isn't normal. This isn't normal. So like, I get it. Like, I get it. The people that are listening and watching, and they're like, bro, is this actually real?
It's funny though, because to us it's normal because we've lived this for a while.
Because it's become the reality that we've created.
Yeah.
Because it's the mindset that we've been able to determine, achieve, and establish.
Yeah.
However, for the average person, they may not see it. And I get it, because you have to have a delusional mindset.
Yeah.
You have to be so far out there to believe that it's possible. Because I assume you come from the trenches just like me.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the same perspective. It's the same perspective. It's like you grow up, people are broke. I look at all my high school buddies. They're working very low paying jobs. Some of them committed suicide. Some of them are divorced. Like, I get it. Like, life isn't easy, but you can create the delusion of scarcity or the delusion of abundance. And I just decided to create the delusion of abundance, that it was possible, that I could make more money, that I could build better networks, that I could actually provide value to people. And as time went on and I gained more experience, and as I became more developed, these opportunities began to show themselves to me. And what I tell people is that money is a lagging indicator of success. Money doesn't come right away. You have to be able to put in the hours and the work and have the mindset of a CEO and have the mindset of a boss
to do so.
To be able to say no to the paycheck, because the paycheck is the instant gratification of your labor. The CEO is the last one to get paid. The CEO is the one that takes the risks, but no risk, no Ferrari. And we know this to be true. If you want to win the game of life, if you want to take it to the top, you have to be able to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become. And for a lot of people, they may just be comfortable with their 9-to-5, and I completely get it and I validate it. If that's what you want to live and if you're happy, so be it. But I'm willing to neglect the money in the short term and not get that paycheck, just because I understand that if you plant enough seeds in due time, you will reap massive rewards. and it worked out.
I say that to everyone, man. It's not just about getting the money as quick as possible. It's about building the mindset, building everything around it first before you get that money. Because you're only going to get that money once you've built everything in your head first. And then eventually it will start paying off.